Hi, my name is Mark, and I donated a kidney to our kid's babysitter 6 months ago. The person I donated my kidney to, my wife and I have known her for 15 to 20 years, and she was our kid's babysitter. And each of my three kids adored her. My wife and I adored her. A really special, special person in our lives. I didn't think much about kidney disease until about 6 months before I donated my kidney. I really wasn't aware that you could even donate a kidney until I saw a Facebook post that a friend of Tasha, the woman that I donated my kidney to, till a friend of hers posted something on Facebook that she needed a living donor uh, because she was in end-stage renal failure. When I learned what kidney failure would mean for Tasha, at first I felt terrible for her, obviously. It was just, I couldn't really believe that I was even reading it. But then when I saw that she was seeking living donors, I thought maybe I could help. And so that's when I clicked the button that I'd be up for testing. When I learned about kidney disease and its treatment options, I was surprised, number one, about how many people had kidney disease. And then from there, I was surprised at how many people are on dialysis. That absolutely shocked me to learn how prevalent and how commonplace uh, dialysis is for people. And then again, I did not know that you could even donate a kidney. So a kidney transplant, especially from a living donor, I knew about it from deceased donors, but I had no idea that living donors could do it. So that was also a surprise to me. I ultimately decided to donate one of my kidneys because I was in a position where I could. I was lucky enough about 15 years ago to uh, donate bone marrow to a baby boy, and that worked out really well. And it was an experience that I'll never forget. And when this came up with Tasha and Tasha being such a special person, I felt that perhaps I was in a position that I could help. And so I'm certainly glad I did it, that's for sure. My wife and kids never really worried about the procedure at all. Maybe I should ask them why. Actually, it kind of hurts my feelings. Anyway, but no, this was something that my wife wishes that she could have done it. And as it relates to my kids, they adored Tasha, and they loved that this was taking place. And for me, I also saw this as an opportunity to teach them that life is about experiences. Life is about helping others, and I thought this could be a good lesson for them as well. I never thought of this process as being hard or scary at all. I guess when I woke up the morning of the surgery, I was a little apprehensive, but really leading up to it, I trusted the doctors. If they thought I was healthy enough, I knew there wouldn't be any issues at all with the procedure, and I totally trusted that. It wasn't until when I woke up the next morning, I'm like, man, I'm really doing this. Because this is, with the exception of having donated bone marrow, was the only other time that I'd ever been under general anesthesia. And so I had a little apprehension about that, but the hospital where the procedure was performed, the entire transplant team was fantastic and really kept me at ease. So I was never really scared or worried about it. As I was being rolled into the operating room, everything was pretty good. I was a little loopy as they were getting me ready to go under, but as I was getting rolled in there, I was pretty happy actually. And before that, I asked the nurse if they play music during the surgery, and they said, yeah, every once in a while we do, and so I asked for a couple songs to be played as I was getting wheeled in there, and they accommodated my request. And so as I was getting wheeled into the operating room, they were playing James Taylor's "Carolina on My Mind." So everything was really good as I was getting wheeled into the operating room. The best moment after my surgery was when I saw my wife. That was a highlight for sure, and she was pretty proud of me, and that was a moment I won't ever forget. And then when we got to see Tasha after she was done with her surgery, that was pretty awesome. It was very real at that moment, and a really special memory that I won't soon forget. My recovery was neither as long nor as painful as I was expecting at all. The hardest part was they just didn't want me to surf for like 8 weeks, and I was thinking that was painful. But other than that, other than some gas pain that lasted for periodically for about a week or two, and then some weird, like for the first week or so, when I would lie down, it would like be all these bubbles and feel like my whole insides were shifting. But it wasn't a painful experience. It was uncomfortable, I guess, but it wasn't painful. Gosh, probably the maybe the worst part of the whole thing is when they took the catheter out. That was not fun. But again, that only lasted like 2 seconds, so that was fine too. But really, the recovery was not near as long nor as painful as I was expecting. What did I learn about myself and others through this process? I don't know that I learned anything different about myself, but I certainly look at life different. Realizing that experiences are so important, and to be able to do things like this and be able to look back at your life and the things that you're proud of, I think are really important. And so I'm not sure that I learned anything about myself, but I definitely look at life a little bit differently than I used to. My life really hasn't changed that much since the transplant. The only thing I'll say that's any different for me is that I used to take ibuprofen if I had a headache or a backache or something like that. Now it's Tylenol, and that's really the only change. And in fact, speaking of headaches, I used to get a lot of headaches. And now I do not, and I think it's because I drink more water since the transplant than I ever have in my life, and I think that's helped cut down on the number of headaches, so that's good. But if I do get one, I just take Tylenol instead of ibuprofen, and that's really the only change. I don't have any regrets, period. Looking back, the best part about donating a kidney and that experience was that I was able to be a part of being able to help somebody. I think that the transplant centers, the doctors, the nurses, the nephrologists, they're the ones that make it happen. For me to donate the kidney, it was pretty easy. I got to take a nap, and the surgeons and that team did everything. But the best part of it all was that I was able to be a part of making a difference for somebody, and it was just a bonus that it was somebody that was close to my family. The best advice that I could give to somebody who's considering donating a kidney really is to go for it. I wish I could do it again, to be honest with you, but also to trust it. If the doctors and the transplant team feels that you are healthy enough to do it, and you are ready for it, just trust it. There really isn't that much to be worried about, and you're going to be making a huge difference for somebody. So my advice would be, if you're considering it and you're lucky enough to be able to do it, you're healthy enough for it, then my advice is go for it. When I'm old, or older than I am now, and I look back in my life, this experience will absolutely be one of the greatest in my life. I get embarrassed sometimes when Tasha and others thank me for having donated a kidney to her, but really a part of me wants to thank her for providing me this opportunity. Again, this is an experience that I'll never forget, and it's one that I'm going to treasure for the rest of my life. And man, I wish if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would do it in a heartbeat. And it truly, I'm sure that when I'm getting ready to move on, that I will look back at this experience as one of the greatest in my life.